Hello there friends, today's episode is just insane. We're diving into Team Reshuffles, Skiter taking on coaches, the wrap-up of the European qualifiers, LGD is done officially, and lots of other interesting news. Without further ado, let's get straight to it. And as always, we start with Reshuffles. Antares has left 9 pandas, and by the way, he wasn't kicked out. Antares just got tired of the game and decided to take a break. But you know how it works in Dota, we might see him joining a new team pretty soon. But who will step in for pandas? Actually, we know this guy. They've brought in Eki from Poland, who was recently let go from Team Secret. Although they haven't signed him, like, permanently, just brought as a temporary stand-in. Will they manage to pull off some wins? It's still up in the air, but let's hope the young squad can snag some victories. Guys, I'm pretty sad to announce this, but LGD is officially over. Like, remember when some odd things happened with the LGD? Players were voicing concerns about not getting paid, and the team was bootcamping in internet cafes and at the coach's house and all that? It all seemed to hint at something bigger. First, Xiao8 spilled some beans in a fan chat about the complete disband, and then the organization itself announced that it was official and the team is no more. Yeah, it's a bummer, I know. They were just like TI finalists a couple of years ago and they won a lot of tournaments, but now they're done. And yeah, that's kinda logical as well, because the team wasn't showing any results at all recently. Although the statement also says that when the things will stabilize within the team's management, they will come back with the new shape. But guys, we're not yet done with China. Rumors are swirling that the founder of Extreme Gaming and Azor Ray is assembling a 5th squad. I mean, is he gonna monopolize the whole region or what? Is that even allowed? Anyways, his current 4th stack is called Black Horse. So it seems he's keen on putting together a new team with plenty of cash to spare. And this whole LGD's disband might be just the perfect excuse to gather another lineup. Anyways guys, let's move to Dota itself. As you know, in the recent update, Valve made it so that the Divine Rapier has 2 modes, with magic damage and with physical damage. And so Valve also decided to add the animation, the visual effect, when the magic modification is turned on. And also, if you remember, in the last episode we talked about the brooch breaking crits for heroes like Phantom Assassin and Juggernaut and all that. And this bug was also fixed. But anyways, as usual, when one bug is fixed, another more intriguing pops up. But actually, this wasn't really a bug, more like a couple of guys at Valve's office decided to have a little fun with us, and boy, did it look freaky.
Good bait for your carry.
Your middle tower is under attack.
Huh? What?
Что это? Почему у меня денег нет? Мне просто голдай.
Now my friends, let's talk about Dota pro players, as they have been seriously grinding their MMR. For example, Kiyotaka, who after a long losing streak clawed back to 12k, and he's not planning to stop there. Also, our boy Amar, ATF, is catching up with his teammate Malren, hitting the 13k MMR mark. That's kinda cool for an offlaner to have so many MMRs. And yeah, once the king of the ladder, GPK, isn't falling behind either. He reached 13k MMR as well, with a cheeky addition, MMR for Thrash. I didn't really understand what he meant there, but guys, maybe you know. Drop your thoughts in the comments below, because what's that? He thinks that MMR is for trash or that his MMR is trash, I can't tell. And yeah, our favorite guy Mason is also keeping up pace with his peers, boosting his MMR to 10k on a brand new account with just 900 matches. Now my friends, a little Seb section, because he gave a lot of interviews recently and we found some interesting stuff in it. For example, Seb spoke about Taiga's gambling problem. At that time, the whole team was concerned about his addiction. It's one thing to lose money, but there's also the risk of betting on his own Dota matches, especially with his team OG to lose. And of course, Seb started investigating the matter. They had to negotiate with all the tournament organizers, keep everything hidden from Taiga and even bench him. Fortunately, OG Captain's suspicions turned out to be false. Taiga wasn't betting against his team. Yet, the damage to the team's trust was too severe, and given the players' inconsistent performances, the replacements were necessary. And by the way, now Taiga has made a return to Dota after a break. He plays for a tier 2 team known as Leviathan, a South American organization. They at the moment have some serious intentions to become one of the best teams of the region and maybe even of the world. And by the way, they are also involved in a scandal, but we will talk about it a little later. Let's get back to Seb now, because he also shared his thoughts on Fly. I think we all respect Fly for his contributions into Dota. Currently, he's going through a rough patch in his career, playing for Nouns, a true Dota icon. Along with S4, he left for EG to join Sumail and left Seb on his own. That was one hell of a drama back in the days. And obviously, that move deeply affected Seb. Losing a teammate who you really respect without any explanation, it's incredibly upsetting, he says. He didn't even say goodbye or apologize, but I guess he had the reasons. And one last thing before we switch to qualifiers and matches. Surprisingly, Skiter decided to voice the reasons behind PSG's Quest's failures. He placed the blame on their former coach, The Hawk. For those unaware, he's notorious for his dictatorial approach, let's say, to team management. His word was always the law. According to the carry from Falcons, such methods severely limit the team. With the coach taking over the game, the team's level is confined to that of the coaches, not the collective potential of the team. This prevents other teams from realizing their full potential and makes them prisoners to their coach's limitations. Which is, of course, not the right approach in his opinion. Guys, what do you think about coaches? Don't forget to write your thoughts in the comments below. I mean, it's easy for Skiter to say because he has AUI 2000, who is one of the best coaches Dota ever seen. And now, my friends, let's talk about how things are going with the qualifiers for the Dream League. It's quite the story, actually. First, Nigma and Miracle were once again outplayed by PSG Quest, despite all Miracle's best efforts. The qualifiers in the Western Europe were a tough battleground. This time, OG came away with nothing, meanwhile Liquid and Tundra made it through to the LAN tournament. Congratulations Thompson to finally making it back to a LAN event, it's been a while for him. And my friends, the qualifiers for the Dream League just keep going. In March, they seemed endless. Fortunately, there weren't any major surprises. For example, Nouns, together with aforementioned Fly, breezed through the North American region with ease, while Pakaj and his team got incredibly lucky. During a match of Boom versus Leviathan, Pakaj got disconnected for a whole 50 minutes. And what do you think happened? They decided to restart the lobby, just as Leviathan had finally taken the lead for the first time in the game and were pushing towards the high ground. But when they restarted, the wave of creeps that was supposed to disable backdoor protection simply wasn't there. It didn't exist. Basically, instead of being where they were used to be, they just spawned near the tier 3 tower, while Leviathan's opponents were respawning. The lobby admin tried to rectify the situation by asking Boom players to AFK at the fountain and only leave on command. But Boom players just left the base a few seconds early and prevented Leviathan from making a comeback, ultimately losing the match. In my opinion, guys, this was outright unfair. It wasn't like sportsmanship. Boom should have been penalized for those few seconds. However, it's unlikely such actions would be taken during qualifiers. We can only hope this abuse is fixed and never repeated. Meanwhile, what's happening in the Eastern European region? As you remember, previously Navi won over Virtus.pro in the Dream League qualifiers finals. But now Virtus.pro took revenge on them, knocking them out of the tournament along with Yellow Submarine. And Ramses, as expected, couldn't make any significant impact with his stack, getting eliminated in the finals by VP. And of course, we can't forget the OG Tundra Derby. They seem to meet in the finals of nearly every qualifier, but that's not a bad thing. It's a testament to their level of play when no other team can match them. So now, let's watch some Dota. In the first map, Thompson was given his signature sniper, and he just dominated the mid lane against BZM. By the way, please take a look at the nickname of OG's mid laner. Seb's proteges indeed try to come back by using pickoffs and smart warding, but when your opponents are so good at reading the map and scanning exactly where OG were lying in wait, there's not much you can do. All that was left to do was just to die, respawn, die again, respawn again, and well, you get it. And to watch from the tavern as Sniper and Luna racked up the net worth. But as always in Dota, things aren't straightforward as they seem.
Farm. Look at his items. He has nothing. Stampede being used to help Tundra get over to the pit here. I mean, they wanted to, so now it's a meeting of the carries on the high ground. Tomato and Pure staring right at Roshan, the third hero. He's coming on in to interrupt this 1v1. Eclipse coming down. Tomato, he's popped the BKB. He needs to get some clicks off here, but it's just not happening. Navi really comes down. They've caught the Luna post BKB. Maybe they bring her down. No, the BKB comes out now. She was saving it as she gets herself away. Toby has died. Immediate buyback, and Tomato on the backline's in so much trouble. The relocate's going to get him out of there. Meanwhile, BZM, he's gone in deep, and he's coming out with the goods. They've managed to get on top of Thompson right now. BZM taking down the sniper. They need a little more. They need a little more. They will get the kill, but he will die in response. Ari just trying to set up here, but 9 Class just stealing spells and throwing them straight back at him, and Ari's going to get run down as well. Gyro, he's coming back in. He's ready to go. They don't have many resources on the side of Tundra, and they took a little dip in the fountain over on the side of OG, so they are fit and healthy. And they will chase back Tundra.
If Tomato had died in that fight and Pure had taken the Aegis, there would have been no talk of an interesting game. However, Whisper made it clear that he wasn't going to give up this game so easily, still feeling the sting from the Dream League. And here, Thompson and the gang just decided to start losing, inexplicably choosing to take down Gyrocopter with Aegis, as if they were unaware that targeting Razor would prevent Io from activating the relocate save. Such mistakes further complicated the game for Tundra, and even if you manage to take down Io first, Radiant lacks proper positioning. Luna just lacks damage and Sniper is just out of position. Gyrocopter just effortlessly cuts through all opponents without exception, and that's not surprising. Yet, my bros, here's why we love the current Dota. It's full of turnarounds. A single fight can lead to losing everything, making it seem like your comeback efforts were just in vain.
Tundra, they're smoked up. They're behind OG right now. If they can find any supports, they feel really good. They place the high ground wards and pinging it out. They're in. They're onto the Seb.
It's a great target to start this off on, but the follow-up is just not really there. BZM, though, he's been baited by an illusion. Great micro by Pure, and now Toby still left for dead, and Seb, he's surviving through it all, but oh my god, BZM just gets eliminated. Tomato goes for the 1v1. As always, these two carries fighting each other in the fight. Whiteman just dies at a side note. Pure in trouble. It's a great spear from Whisper, but where is the Gyro? He's locked up behind by Toby, and Thompson on the sidelines just blasting out. Assassinate after right-click. Pure takes down Whisper as Tomato left alone. Oh, Seb, can he save him? He can't. There's not enough healing coming out from the IO. Trying to get away from this one, but another assassinate going to come down on him and take him out as well. It's an ultra kill for Pure. Ari getting engaged as
Rampage
well, but
time?
it might be Rampage time. They're running them down. There's no way.
Oh.
An easy ultra kill for Pure and the end of the map for OG. And to think, you can't say really that Tundra was struggling through most of the mid game. But one simple misplay and the perfect position of Sniper turned the game around. After such a grueling map, it seemed almost unnecessary to try as hard in the second. Bam! A 20k lead at the 26th minute mark. Well, what did you expect? OG already struggled to take down Sniper, and now they've got a Lycan demolishing buildings left and right. Tundra really ramped up the pressure in the second map. And while OG is being wiped out in 20 minutes, I have to remind you about something, friends. If you want to support me and my videos and my crew, please go to my Patreon. The times are tough and we gotta eat, right? I can't leave you, my dear viewers, without content. But also staying jobless isn't on my to-do list. So please don't forget to support me on my Patreon, and the link is in the comments below. And now, my friends, let's move to the third map. It finally clicked for OG that they could ban Sniper, but could you imagine? They decided to pick Omni Knight for Thompson. Honestly, I can't even begin to imagine how many heroes Thompson can play in an official match, but I reckon he'd make an impact on any of them. But, well, it was a bummer. Omni Knight got just countered by Doom this time around, hardly getting a chance to press his buttons. And yeah, overall here, Seb and his gang just had a much better draft. The fights were simpler for them, plus there was no cursed sniper taking shots from a mile away. Tundra though tried to build a defense, but honestly the mid Omni Knight didn't live up to expectations. Sure thing, he dished out tons of damage, but Doom and Disruptor just didn't let him capitalize on it. And with that, we moved to map 4. And this one was an absolute demolition for Sep and the team. Topson finally got a serious hero in Puck, not some YOLO meme thing. Impressively, he even managed to shut down Ember Spirit in the mid lane. To me, this skill difference between Topson and BZM is quite significant, to be honest. Or maybe OG's mid laner is just unlucky, who knows. Also, why did they pick Cuddle as position 5? I don't understand it. First of all, you combine Keeper of the Light with a hero that spams abilities to win the lane. Second of all, if you stay against a tanky hero, which is position 3, you don't do a lot of damage. I mean, you can't capitalize on what you can do. And third, Coral is just too greedy, and because of that, he took away all the Rubik's potential. Unfortunately, there was no chance for a comeback. Radiant just took control of the entire map, secured the Aegis, farmed up, and went for the finish. Timato just couldn't keep up, and after another lost fight, the decision was made to type GG's. Just like that, without much effort, Topson made it to the LAN tournament, probably now chilling and playing pubs, feeling satisfied. And with that, we wrap up. Thank you, dear viewers, for sticking with the video until the end. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. I'm not saying goodbye for a long time. See you soon.